evening and welcome to Modern Spiritualists. I'm Aeson Knight, and joining me tonight is a double hitter. First up to bat is Kristen Lee, famous medium and paranormal investigator. And then in a half hour, the Pendulums Path will be joining us. How are you, Kristen?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you tonight?
Doing good. So, how did you get into your mediumship work?
Well, I've always, when I was a child, I would always really tune into the outdoors. I was always outside
Mhm.
and I love water and I would always just look up at the sky in the sun. I always pulled in a lot of solar energy too. But as time went on, I ended up having an imaginary friend named Hayata. I don't know where that name came from, but
Uh-huh.
later in life, I learned that that was a guide.
Oh,
Um, and, I talked about it with my parents and all of that, what kids
right.
do. And, you know, some of their friends would be like, well, who's Kristen talking to? and
Right.
my parents were like, oh, that's just her imaginary friend Hayata. But it was cool. It was really cool. And animals, I mean, geez, oh, peace, just being an empath with animals and
Mhm.
really sucking up all of that energy, that earth energy, and then exploring the other sides of life later in life. I think that the Belair house has made me a very, very strong medium.
Right.
But the psychic abilities, I believe that they've been there. I believe we all have them. It's just we not a lot of us have that wake up, that aha moment, like, oh my gosh, these things are not coincidences anymore. These things are leading us on a spiritual path. And if we walk the spiritual path, then we're
Mhm.
going to get to our greater good. And then messages come through and building rapport with different spirits, ancestors, deities, saints, angels, those types of energies. I really started to understand that. And I feel like that has helped with the mediumship too. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing this now. Well, I started professionally probably in 2009, and then I just do it.
A lot of people that woke up during that time and really started moving into the community. Now you've gotten to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, you've been featured on multiple shows, multiple episodes, and I think you even ran your own series then.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're crewed up again, and we're getting ready to go do some new things at the Belair House, and I love it. I love filming. I love screenwriting. I love directing. I just absolutely love that part of it. But, I've been blessed because I still get to see my son get on a stage. And, back in the day, I was a musician. So I still get to keep that music vibe going on in my life too, which is just so cool.
How do you balance all these worlds? I mean, because you're half of the day because you do when you're doing mediumship. I understand that like you're on the other side. So half the day you're on the other side. The other half of the day you're managing everything else. Plus you're doing readings. That's a lot to keep up with.
It is, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
Sometimes my son will call and say, "Hey, we're going to New York." I'm like, "All right, let's go." And then that's what's so cool is, I can clear a schedule
Right.
and then pick it up, when I get back.
Hmm.
Um, that's what's so cool about being a psychic. I love that because I have freedom to do the things and still have my family and still have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's it? What other like you do more than just the mediumship. You do, you work with love and relationships and
Mhm.
careers and finances. What's your favorite outside of your comfort zone readings?
Outside of my comfort zone readings, I think what it is, I think that all of it's definitely in the love and relationship category, but I feel like there's subcategories in love and relationship category.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just so important to help people to see that the category for themselves right now is just to live
Hmm.
and not worry, what's next, what's next, what's next. And, I get what's next, what's next planning. I get all of that. But sometimes it's just so hard to turn somebody around when people are so focused and they've been
Hmm.
so focused on
Right.
certain things.
And
And
the screaming block right there in front of you.
true, true. Yeah. but just trying to reach them is definitely an obstacle sometimes when people, all people here, are just so focused on one thing.
Mhm.
That's a major obstacle.
Right. And,
Mm.
and it gets a little bit different. What's been some of the fun you've gotten to have as a medium?
Oh, fun. Oh my gosh. So this just happened. Actually, it was quite fun. So I was tuning into a deceased loved one, and the deceased loved one had turned my television on while I was doing the reading, and there
Hmm.
was no, I mean, there was no way that I could even turn it off. I'm trying to unplug it. I can't unplug it. I couldn't do anything to turn it off,
Uh-huh.
and then a television show that I don't even know if it's in different streaming networks came on, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, and I told the person that I was talking to, I was like, oh my gosh, this show just came on. And they're like, that was their favorite show. And I'm like, get the heck out of here.
Right.
And having to say, listen, their first name, you can't stay here. You have to go to,
Mhm.
who's on the other end of the line. And
Right.
things are popping in, and don't come back here, because if we have any more ghosts in the house, then I'm probably not going to have a husband. He'll divorce me.
That's understandable, because as psychics, we collect things. We have people show up early for appointments. I've had to have a conversation with a few people that wanted to come early to make sure that it worked. And it's like, your appointment's not till 3 o'clock. Your daughter's not going to be here. Do you mind? Like, I don't know, go visit her. But I find it interesting that they would, still want to turn into their wheel of fortune, their guiding light,
Bonanza.
and like that's interesting, especially when it's like, hey, I don't really care. What are some of the more misconceptions about the other side and in people that you get?
um, I think that one that is very misconceived is that when, let's use ourselves, like, let's say I transitioned
Right.
and it's been 2 hours, 3 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you receive messages? They ask that. Some people don't believe that you can.
Uh-huh.
And for a long time, I didn't believe that we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a personal experience when my father died.
Right.
That opened it all up to where it was validated for me to be
Mm-hmm.
able to help change the mindset of others, that you
Yeah.
can speak to them, like, you
Almost.
can't say immediately, but
Right.
shortly after, right?
Right.
Mhm,
Now, I've personally asked that they wait about 30 days, and here's why I do it.
mhm,
Is because one, they need to be able to understand how to communicate with my guide, because I am the type of medium that's actually a three-way conversation, or
mhm,
four-way if you count the client. The guide asks the person, the guide then tells me what the person says, I then tell what the client's. It's a
mhm,
telephone, and
right,
they have to figure that out for me. And that's where I'm a psychic that does mediumship.
right.
You're a psychic medium. You don't have to do all that skip around.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up just being able to learn how to go straight in, like,
Uh huh.
you know, I think, and probably because of the Belair house, because, being in that type of energy all the time,
Right.
and really researching the afterlife. I mean, there's been so many, and I've had spirits validate things, my research for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think it's out of this world. It really is, and I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it.
Hello, Ghost Sister. Thanks for joining us. Um, and with that, you know, do you think that you bought the Blair Ale house, or did the Blair Ale house call you?
Yeah, I think it pulled me in. I
Yeah.
know it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely did. And for a long time, I struggled with that. But and there's days I still do struggle with it, because there is,
Hmm.
without a balance, there is no positive or negative, and we have both in the Belair house. And
Right.
sometimes when the negative is very cranky, I'm just like,
Give them coffee. Like, here's coffee. Go be bad over in the corner until you come back. So, is there anything you don't read on?
I do not do legal matters, and I don't do medical.
Right.
I am a metaphysician, but I don't do metaphysics either, unless somebody asks me.
Mhm.
Then I will. I will provide information, but not until I'm asked.
Right. But, and we all know that we cannot do medical, we cannot do legal under any reason, any circumstances, and we can't do stocks, we can't do the futures, even though they're named the futures. We can't even comment on what the Dow is doing. Okay,
Right.
but that's standard. I think, especially for U.S. psychics, those are standard. We are not allowed to do this. This is no. It's not that we can't. It's that the networks, the federal government says you cannot do that. You're not allowed to comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we are not supposed to go to Vegas and play cards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. We're not, because it could be card counting, and it's like, no, you can't go to Vegas. And I'm like, okay, fine. What if I don't go there as Aeson Knight to play cards? Well, maybe if you leave your tarot at home. I'm like, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also I don't do predicting of lottery numbers. Do you?
No, I don't. No, I can't even add numbers sometimes. No.
Yeah.
No. And then a lot of times I'll get, when am I going to die? Well, that falls under medical. I can't answer that. I'm not a death predictor. I don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And furthermore, we may be demigods, but we've not been appointed as timekeepers. So no, we're not going to tell you when you're going to die, how you're going to die. And, and I find it morbid. People want to know that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of anxiety for me to even think about that. So I don't.
Right. Because what if we look at it and go, well, your next option line is in 2 years. And you get up there in 2 years and you're having a great time. You're out of your, element of upset. You're like, I want to stick around. I still have to learn, compassion and exploration. And then you come back and go, well, I'm still here. And you told me I'd die. And it's like,
free will,
your option line. We are Google telling you the quickest route to get there. If you choose to take the country route, we can at least tell you to turn left.
This is true.
Yeah. So what's your, what are you currently researching?
Nothing at the moment, because I'm right in the end of finishing up a screenwrite.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. No, I did start for me, because I'm doing a whole bunch of self-care this year. I did pick up some, I can't show you, but I picked up some oracle cards.
Okay.
I've been using them for me. And then I have a friend, like one of my best friends calls in every morning. We do our girl thing. And I always pull some cards for her. And that's a lot of fun. I mean, that's just tuning in, I guess, talking to different spirits, pulling in different energies.
Very much so. And learning your tools, which is important. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about the tools you use during a reading.
Okay.
And you can show them off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I found out that my husband had been cheating on me, and my whole world turned upside down.
I stressed over any and everything, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop.
I was attracted to a psychic advisor to get clarity.
I was like, there's no way that's real. But the things that were coming up felt so accurate.
I really need that unbiased, non-judgmental advice. If there's some part of your life that is not quite fitting in, you maybe want to try something that you haven't tried before.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
And Kristen is on Keen, so you can reach her at Kristen Lee on Keen. The link is in the description. So, what do you like using? What's your current favorite tools?
Well, I channel. I don't really use tools anymore.
Okay.
But when I'm having fun with friends and things like that, or somebody requests tools, I love I absolutely love these nature speak cards. I started off with these when I was a lot younger.
Uh-huh.
And I can get like timelines and things out of these. They're really cool. Because I'm so connected to different deities and saints and angels, I always use like the god and goddess cards and stuff like that.
Very nice. And guys, look at those cards. Okay. You can tell they're being used. Here's my current working deck. They get used, they get bent, they get the ribbons. I got a new deck in. You'll kind of like this one. It's called the Guiding Light Tarot.
Okay.
Okay.
I have that one. I'm going to check it out. I bought it, but I haven't opened it up yet.
Oh, I've got
Love it.
Yes, I love it. Something I haven't seen on the sides of them, and I'm wondering how long it's going to last.
It caught my eye. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got that. I don't know, the shiny stuff instead of the gold they normally put on. It's iridescent. I think these will be great to use like in different settings, but at the same time, I'm wondering how long that iridescence is going to last on them.
It would be really cool to use as in a black light for like Halloween.
Yeah, especially with the back, because the back is iridescent. It's very pretty. So you've got a screenplay you're going to be pitching. You've got, different research. We're working with different energies. When are you normally on, Key?
I log in early, like anywhere from 5 a.m. until maybe 11 or 12, and I'll take a break. And then I'll come on in the afternoon a little bit, and then I'll go on in the evening a little bit. It's very sporadic. It is. I don't really have a major afternoon and evening schedule, but
right. But very much early morning hours, and we're Eastern time zone because you're in Ohio. Just for those that are wondering, because we have a lot of people that are all over the place. Now, you specialized a lot in paranormal work. What's the difference from having a spirit visit you and having a paranormal renter?
Well, there's two sides to that. Spirit visiting you. Let's say, for instance, you're sleeping in bed and you've been ignoring your Jiminy Cricket consciousness telling you something, right? Let's say that's the situation. Then that spirit has been trying to reach you. They have a message for you. Right. So they're going to get that message to you however they can. And if you're asleep in bed one night and they sit down, or you wake up, or you feel something is there and you open your eyes and you actually see something, and then you hear something, that's them getting a hold of you. I think that's okay. Is it startling? Absolutely. But let's just say you are going into a very historical haunted location to try to communicate to spirits, and they show up. That's a whole bunch of difference too.
That's a whole lot of shit. But like, you move into a house, and it's like, how do you know that it's not just the house being creaky and old? What's some of the first signs of, someone didn't move out and someone ain't paying rent or washing dishes?
Yes. Yeah. Remember too, when I moved into the Bel Air house, I tried to debunk everything. I thought I was losing my mind. I really did. Even though I had been doing readings and I had been medium, we always have to look at what is surrounding the person's life too. And coming out of a very traumatic situation of losing our home to the floods, and then, not working at all during that, but still in graduate school and stuff like that. I've always just done stuff like that. But that's different because, for me, I was, okay, that pan was there. Why is it over there? Maybe one of the kids did it. Then after a while, questioning the family, did you do this? No, I didn't do that. And then not believing it because you don't want to believe that it could be something else. Right. And then finally seeing a full apparition. And then that, like in the flesh. Like, okay. Yeah, like full on, yes.
And and a lot of people go, but you're a medium. You should have been able to read that. And it's like, no, we weren't looking for that.
I wasn't looking, and plus I wasn't even reading because I'm smart enough to know, don't read, don't tune in when you're in a crisis situation. You self-care first. Yeah.
Right. And that's even more important, is taking care of, we as psychics have to take care of ourselves a lot. We have to do a lot of self-care, because when we don't, we suck.
Yes. Oh boy, do we.
Yeah. If we aren't eating right, exercise, because while yes, we have to keep, we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience in a physical body.
Mm-hmm.
We are not Superman or Superwoman or super being. We still have to take care of the car, get the oil changed, make sure to give it the proper fuel. Even more so when we're doing psychic readings, and I think even for me at least, when I'm doing mediumship work, it's a lot heavier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more work. It's a lot more lifting.
It really is. Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
it's days and days and days and days of being in that
right.
vibe.
Right. And getting to that vibe and staying in that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the perfect setup for you for your clients? Like, what should they have ready for them?
Well, they should definitely, I'm sure that they're going to have many things on their mind. I would,
Yeah.
I look at every caller like I would look at myself or my mother,
Mhm.
my sister, my kids. That's first
Right.
and foremost. But have an idea of what you want to talk about. But once you get on the phone, you might forget. So what I always do is ask for first names and then what's on your mind? Let's go from there. Like why
Right.
that's first.
Right.
And then we just start to pick things apart. And if things come through, like spirits, ancestors, we can do that. Then there's sometimes that people call specifically to tune into a deceased loved one. And in that case, I would just need their name and how they were related and see what I can come through with.
Right. And, they don't always answer the phone.
No, sometimes they do not. No.
And sometimes when people, I don't know if you've had this situation going, but I have, they call, they want to talk to someone specific. It's like their third or fourth grandfather or wherever. And it's like, they're not there anymore. You need to look on the earthly plane.
Correct. Yeah. Like Akashic Records. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Not yet, but now I'm probably going to be aware of it and think of it. Now it's going to manifest. Thank you.
Probably. No, because for a very long time, my tagline was, I'm not a medium. I'm a large and everything, and some things an extra large. And it was because a lot of times I did not get this, because we see this on TV all the time, is, boom, here I've got Grandma Ethel, and, she's talking about her quilting and blah, 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 blah. And, no one ever shares that when it's like, I don't know, maybe they're at a Frank Sinatra concert. I'm getting the voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Spirit. Leave a number. Grandma Ethel may call you back later if she's in the mood. And then one of my first sessions, this person was very big into genealogy and history. And, and my guide literally said, they're not on the other side anymore. Like, they have reincarnated. They need to be looking for a living being around 12 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, I get this now. This is going to be fun and interesting. That's why I will do mediumship, but I don't have a mediumship listing because it's, for me, a jumping process.
Mm-hmm.
For you, it's very easy to go into because that's what your first tool was, your mediumship, and
yes,
reading into that.
Mm-hmm. It really was. And his name was Hayata.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay, interesting. Did you ever rename him, or are you just calling him Hayat, or are you still working with him?
Well, this. I'm going to blow your mind. So, about 2017, this man appeared at the Belair House, and he's now part owner of the Belair House. And it took me probably 7-8 months to tell him that he looked identical to Hayata. And he was from like Japan and all that stuff. And he was a Buddha. He is a Buddha. He's still with us. But yeah, it took me a while to tell him about my experience. And I really thought that we have finally reconnected. Like
on the physical.
Right.
Yeah.
And he agreed.
Right. Now here, I don't know, this is a debatable question. When I say debatable, it's all theoretical, as it has to be. Do you think that, guides come in for temporary times.
Yes.
Angels come in for temporary times. And then they're like, okay, you can go to your next office. I'm done with you.
Yeah, like they get you through some type of a crisis or a trauma or a decision, and then when you're well, they go on. But I've learned that with ancestors, when there's like another crisis or something, they'll swoon back in and
Right.
chill for a while.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So yeah, I agree with that. Although, I've worked with David since, he showed up like age 3, and he's like, I ain't leaving you. We've got a good long while. Just sit back and run your mouth. I'll tell you what to say. We'll get this done. Do you do trance mediumship?
No, I don't. I attended one session of a trance medium, and I don't think I would probably, after doing something like that, I would probably be in bed for 5 to 6 days. It's a lot of energy to push out.
I agree with so much energy that goes out, with so much transformation that goes out. And then now I'm seeing that, certain locations are starting to teach older spiritual techniques like trumpeting and airporting and seances. And I'm like, ooh, this will be interesting. Can I go up there and drop the $4,000 in training? But then I'm like, do I really want things flying around my house?
Oh, well, I would do the training.
Yeah, I would do the training. I don't know if I would do the practice.
Definitely do the training.
Yeah. All right, darling. Well, is there anything you want to leave with our clients tonight?
Well, I just hope everybody's living their best life. And I know that sometimes we all have questions and obstacles in our lives. And just know that you're not alone. Even if you feel like you don't have a friend tonight or anybody that you could confide in, or you don't want your friends to know how you're feeling or something like that. Remember, spirit is always with you. It's your ancestors are with you. Spirits are with you. It is very real. Just take care of yourselves. And if you ever need anything, reach out to Keen, reach out to any psychic advisor on Keen. We're all here to help.
Right. And are you going to be on tonight?
Maybe later, maybe after 11. I get to do paranormal stuff.
Okay. Well, you guys can go ahead and hop on and do a range of calls for Kristen, and she'll take you as soon as she's available. Make sure to give her a 24-hour window, so if you can't get her tonight, you can get her in the morning.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, darling. You come back when you get some more stuff out, and we'll sit down and talk about it.
Okay, cool. All right, have a great night.
You too. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
Well, good evening. Hello, Miss Pendulums Path. How are you, Natalie?
I am doing quite well, sir. How are you?
Doing well. So you have an interesting story because you were a late blooming psychic. You're here all the time. How did that happen?
Well, my mother would say that I've always had gifts and abilities. It just took us a very long time to finally have that button pressed kind of thing. So I had displayed psychic abilities from a very, very, very young age, but it was so sporadic and intermittent that it wasn't, no one really like caught on to like, something might be different with this one. I did notice that a lot of people said that I grieved differently than other family members. Like I wasn't so sad about people's passings, and I was kind of okay with it because I knew that they were okay. My grieving process was a little bit different than other people. Occasionally I would say something about someone that just so happened to be true, and there was no reason for me to know that about that person at that time or place or age. However, after 30 some years of having a traumatic lifestyle or a traumatic life and having a lot of crazy stuff happen to me, everything stemming from like kidnapping to various assaults and other crazy things that have happened that really shouldn't happen to normal people on a regular everyday basis, let alone more than once. PTSD finally kind of reared its ugly head, and I was like, I have to do something about this because I'm not able to function as a normal human being. My anxiety, the stress, the trauma, it's just so overwhelming. So I went into talk therapy, and my therapist was absolutely wonderful. She taught me how to meditate. After I was really struggling with something, and she said, let's just pause for a second. I'm gonna take you through a guided meditation. And we did this like little 10-minute guided grounding meditation, and I felt amazing afterwards. I felt so refreshed, so clean, brand new. Like none of the problems that I had when I walked in that day were still present. They were gone. And I felt different. I felt like I had taken all those virus files and just kind of downloaded them and threw them in the trash file and deleted them.
Right.
And I went home and looked at my partner. I was like, I'm exhausted. I'm trash tired. I need to go to sleep. Is it all right if I go down for a nap? Sure, no problem. I set an alarm for probably like 2 hours or something. Didn't even think I was going to sleep that long. Like 15, 16 hours later, I woke up the next day. And my entire world, life, existence, everything was different. I woke up to essentially what you would just say is like dead people hanging around my bed, and I thought I was having a nervous breakdown and I was schizophrenic, or I was just having some kind of psychosis, and I panicked again and called my therapist. I was like, something horrible is happening to me. I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, and I don't know what's going on. And immediately went back, and within like 6 months or so, 5 or 6 months or so, through not just therapy, but through talking with a bunch of other like-minded individuals who were psychics, mediums, and spiritualists, and paranormal investigators, and all that stuff. After talking with them, kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, it's like, gee, I think I might actually be psychic. Is that a thing? Is that really something that happens to people? And it was something that was unheard of for me. I'd only ever seen or heard of maybe like 2 or 3 other psychics in my life, and most of them appeared on Oprah Winfrey specials. So that was my entire exposure to psychics and mediums was like daytime television. That wasn't something that I was interested in or something that I had researched on a regular basis. So this was very new information for me, coming from a Christian household and background where that kind of stuff was not discussed. And now I'm surrounded by candles, crystals, tarot cards, and oracle cards, and pendulums galore. So I'm very much not the same person that I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. But yeah, Spirit has definitely taken me on a very bumpy but very magical, eye-opening ride. That is for sure. And I'm really happy to be who I am today.
Well, not only that, but you physically went on a very interesting journey because you are United Kingdom.
Yes, I sound American, but I promise you I am not.
Yes.
I was born in the UK. I lived in England and Scotland until I was about 9 years old, and then my family moved stateside, and we've been here ever since. So,
took you to Arizona, and it's like, oh, gee, where have I heard this story from?
Let's take you to the middle of the desert for a ridiculous number of years, throw you through the ringer, have you dragged through the stones kicking and screaming. You'll be fine. You'll be fine once you get out on the other side of that parched desert. And
How
then
far were you from Sedona is my question.
like 2 hours, not even.
So
Like,
you
and,
stay
like
within
maybe
the
like
echo wave.
hour 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
That's with like, that was like Tuesday traffic was like an hour and 45 minutes. If you're leaving on a Friday, 4 hours, because everybody's going up to Sedona and everyone's on that main highway strip and you're going to be there for a minute. But like on a Tuesday, hour 45 minutes, you know, it's like once you get through like the main part of like the highway stretch, once you get out of
right,
you know, like the like corporate
one spiritual center to another spiritual center.
Yeah.
Like
they're everywhere up there.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like is it because everyone knows during the 80s and 90s psychics were like, you have to go to Sedona. Everyone has to be in Sedona. Yeah. Everyone's got to go to Sedona and work.
Experience the vortexes up in Sedona. Go visit the energy fields up in Sedona. It's weird. I've been there. Even though I didn't know what they were, you know, like when I was like a young teen, early in my 20s, before I had like my huge like awakening, there were so many times in so many places I was like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Like, I feel like my equilibrium is completely off center. Like, I don't feel right here. And it was like, we'd have to physically move. And I wasn't the only one in my family who felt that way. You know, some of them were like, it's fine. I don't feel any different at all. And I was like, I feel like I'm leaning sideways and that the room is spinning at the same time. You know, I was like, I don't feel right. My whole equilibrium was completely turned off. Lots of headaches up there as well. It is just like, I kind of like it to being
you're not getting rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's when it does rain up there, as soon as it's done, it feels completely different. Like all that energy has finally been regrounded again, and you can like breathe up there. But it is a very thick, heavy energy in Sedona. I've experienced some very odd moments up there. Can't exactly describe exactly what happened, but even when I think about it, I still get chills that go up the back of my neck. So I'm going to assume that I was most definitely not alone in those situations. Right. So it's like, even though I haven't physically seen stuff looking at me in the middle of the desert at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I was not the only person who felt like we were not alone in those moments. So I was like, okay, so we probably weren't alone in those moments. You know, everybody says like, well, you know, you hear some strange things in the desert at night, and yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, you know, if you're Appalachian, no, you don't know nothing, don't see nothing, don't hear nothing.
Yes, you ignore all of it. La 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 la. Yes. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, no, yeah. There's I've heard some things. I've had personal experiences, but some of the stories that I've heard from people in Sedona, they're pretty cool stories. And I'm like, yeah, would not want to be caught dead in that situation, but that's creepy as heck. So
why do you think we have these energy centers?
Okay, so I work very visually. I work with a lot of metaphors. I work with a lot of metaphors. I'm very much like how do I paint this in a picture so that other people can understand what I'm seeing here?
Right.
Energy has to go somewhere. Energy is constant. It has to flow through something. Okay, if something's in its way, it's either going to go around it or it's going to go through it. Okay, so when we have all like this grid, okay, all these ley lines and all these energy, like it's like a highway, like multiple highways of energies that are going left, right, up, down, east, west, north, south, you know, all of that. They're all going in multiple different directions, all throughout the cosmos, all throughout the universe, not just our little bubble of our blue-green planet, okay, because we are not just like the center of the universe. There's so many other planets out there that are experiencing the exact same energies, just different wavelengths, and is coming through at different times. But that energy has to go somewhere. So if the Earth is in the middle of that little streamline, guess what? It's going to go straight through and come out the other side. And I do feel like a lot of them end up coming through like Bermuda, through Arizona, through the desert. There's a lot of them in Africa as well. It's like these like little drain plugs. You know, when you fill up a bathtub, you've got all this liquid energy. It's got to go somewhere. So you pull the plug, there's this little vortex and it's going down, 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 down into the ground. Where's that going? It has to travel somewhere, right? So it's like if you draw a line, straight lines through the earth, it's like where it's coming in, it's going to come out the opposite side. So in my opinion, or how I visualize it, it's like there's like these little drain plugs of energy that somebody's released on one side and it's coming out through the other side. And it just so happens to be that a lot of them are all lining up in like the exact same areas.
Interesting.
That's the way that I visualize it. That's the way that I see it. That's why I think that a lot, like certain areas, there's even certain places in Australia that I've talked with some people who live in the same areas, and it's like the amount of energy that they have in certain areas, like Adelaide, Australia, there's a lot more energy, like spiritual energy in like Adelaide, Australia than there will be in like Melbourne. And it's like I just look at like the ley lines and I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, because there's like this little patch of concentration right in that area. And so a lot of people end up having like energy situations in their homes where like they'll have power outages a lot, blackouts happen a lot in those areas, because it's not just human energy, it's spiritual energy and cosmic universal energy that's all being concentrated in that one area.
Interesting. Do you think that, Egypt and the pyramids and Stonehenge and, the other lost areas still have residual power left over in them?
Yeah, 100. Oh, yes. And I wouldn't even call it residual energy. I just think it's just dormant. It's not even residual energy. It's still there to be activated. It's just someone hasn't flipped the switch yet.
Right. Natalie?
Still good work. I haven't turned it on yet. So in my perspective, my belief system is that all it's going to take is for one smart person to go, oh, gee, maybe if we tried this, something's going to happen. It's like that one thing that no one's tried before. But dormant energy, yes, but I feel like it's still there. I think the energy that was there all those thousands of years ago is still there. It's still active. It's still turning over. It's still building and building and building. I just think we haven't had the right ingredients or the right people or the right switch flipped in order to make that happen again. But I do think that energy is still very much there. Spirit energy doesn't die. It just sticks around until something's there to act as a catalyst.
Right. And that could be very interesting when it happens there.
Oh, yes.
Right. So you can find Natalie on a couple places. She's over at Bitwine.
Yes, I am over at Bitwine.
And you are on Purple Ocean.
Yep, and Purple Garden as well. Their sister site, doing the video readings, text readings, and the quick video returns as well. I'm on all of them.
So let's grab a commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk about your customers and how you can help them and how they work, because these are different sites than what we've had on.
Yes.
Live tarot and psychic readings. Get 3 free minutes on your first session. Find answers and peace of mind anywhere, anytime. Install Zodiac Psychic now and find your spiritual advisor.
Everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how you do your readings, because everyone does a reading differently.
Yes.
What do you like your customers to come with you to? Come, how do you like them prepped up?
So I understand how awkward and uncomfortable life is. So whenever I have a client meet with me, I want them to be as comfortable as humanly possible. If that means sitting in your sweatpants, tank top, jammies, and a blanket and a cup of tea, perfect. I want you to be as comfortable as humanly possible, because life as it is already uncomfortable enough, and I don't need to be adding any more discomfort to your life. A lot of people come to psychics because they're going through an uncomfortable time in their life. People don't tend to go to psychics when everything is going great, right? Because that's the last time, that's like the last thing that's on their mind is how do I fix something that isn't broken? So typically when people are coming to psychics and mediums, they have a sense of damage on them that they're looking for help in fixing, right? So being as comfortable as possible helps, in my opinion. Also having like a pen and paper and a box of tissues is very helpful, because sometimes emotional things come up and it can catch you off guard. And I'm perfectly fine with people crying in front of me. It's part of the process. I almost expect it at this point. Tears are going to be shed. It's part of the healing process. Releasing some of that negativity can be really helpful, in doing it in a safe space with someone who's been there, done that, and is completely unbiased to your life and doesn't have a set opinion about who you are and what's going on in your life. Can be really refreshing to have an outside opinion be given to you from a clearer perspective, and have it be from somebody who I would hope you could consider to be a friend. I've seen a lot of people say that, well, going to a psychic can be very clinical, or it can be very a non-warming experience because you don't know the person. I very much want to break that barrier and have it feel like you are speaking to a friend that you have known for years and years and years about a really difficult situation that you wouldn't normally go to anybody else for. So it's my hope that I can become that trusted advisor, that trusted friend that you can kind of spill your secrets to and not feel judged by it, because everybody makes mistakes and everybody has horrible things happen to them. Okay. We're not alone in this world. Everybody has to go through some stuff.
Right.
But if you can have a friend there to pick you up, dust you off, and tell you which way to get back on the road again, then it's so much easier, isn't it?
Yes. All right. So let's talk about your platforms. First, Bitwine. How's that work for them if they've never been over there?
So if you've never been on Bitwine before, you can search for an advisor that is available. Some of them do special deals, like $10 deals, $20 deals, depending on the reader. And what their specialty is. And it is a text platform, so you don't have to call anybody. There's no awkward pauses on the phone where you don't know what you want to say or you don't know how to say it. You can text it out and type it out, and it's charged by the minute. Or charged per time slot, and you can spend as much time or as little time as you want with the advisor of your choice, getting the answers and guidance that you need into your current situation, even if it takes 5 minutes or if it takes an hour. To get to the heart of your problem. It's entirely up to you as the client to choose how much time you want to spend on gaining those answers.
What's your $10 special?
My $10 special, you get approximately like 10 minutes with me of text time. You'll get up to 5 cards on that situation. I usually typically will start with tarot, and then I'll go into oracle if you want to go deeper or get further information on top of that. But we'll go through and I'll give you a basic answer to your situation, give you a couple pieces of advice on how to navigate that moving forward, and then hope that the feedback that comes back is like, great, now I at least know what to do, if I should drop it or if I should continue pursuing this. Because sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it is in your best interest to just drop that project or drop that person or that energy and keep moving forward because something better is around the corner. But you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't talked to someone.
Right. All right. And then you're on Purple Ocean, which is a different style of platform.
It is. And I do enjoy it. I do love Purple Ocean.
Yeah.
The 1 hour return videos are probably my favorite. A client can message in and either text a question, or you have the option of videoing, like do a little video introduction of yourself as the client, as the customer, saying like, hey, my name is so-and-so, and this is the problem that I'm having at the moment. If you could give me any guidance into that, that would be great. And then the reader, the psychic, whoever you choose, will read your description of your problem or view your video. And then they have an hour to send back to you a 3-minute video with your reading. And you can text with them afterwards and ask some follow-up questions if you want to. I think they give you like 30 or 45 minutes to chat with the advisor afterwards to ask a few follow-up questions. And then if you want further guidance, you can book other readings, or if they are on the live chat or live video, you can speak live through video or through the telephone, like through audio with a reader on the phone in live time. You don't have to sit and wait. They're at the call, ready to pick up, ready for you whenever you're ready to speak with someone.
Right. And then what is Purple Tides?
Purple Tides is it's another text platform where you can ask a question and multiple advisors have the option of giving their 2 cents. Just kind of like getting a group of your friends together and be like, what's your perspective on this, guys? And getting a little piece of advice or a little piece of guidance from multiple friends or multiple advisors. In my experience, most of the readings that you're going to get back from multiple advisors, they're all going to say the same thing, or at least very similar messages are going to come across. But it's like when you get the same advice from more than one person, you're more likely to take that advice or take that guidance and swallow that uncomfortable pill at times. So having more people saying yes or more people saying no can kind of lead that client in that direction with a little bit more confidence, in my opinion.
Okay. And then Purple Garden.
That's the video, the live video readings where you can live video with your client in real time. And again, they can spend as little or as much time as they want to with you. It's charged by the minute. So there's no like set time blocks. You were just charged per minute, per reader, and the readers set their own prices. So it is up to the client on what your budget is, what type of reading, who you gel with, because all of the readers on Purple Ocean and Purple Garden have like little video intro. So you can watch the video of the reader and see if that's the right fit for you. See if you gel with their personality. If you want someone who's more friendly, if you want someone who's a little bit more clinical, and unattached, if you want someone who's more empathetic and compassionate, it's like going to go do a hairstylist. You're not find the right hairstylist for you on the first try. Sometimes you have to go to a few salons to find the right hairstylist, just someone who understands exactly what you're looking for. Right. So like with the Tides with Purple Ocean and Purple Garden, you have the opportunity to try out a few readers before you find one that's really right for you. And you can go back to them over and over and over and over and over again, as many times as you want, for as many reasons as you want.
Right. Now, Purple Tides and Purple Ocean and Purple Gardens, are they app-based?
They are all app-based, yes. So you download the apps, either Purple Ocean, Purple Garden, and depending on what you're looking for, whether it's the 1-hour return or 24-hour return, because they do have that available as well. Like if you're like, hey, I'm not in a rush, just if you can get me some guidance back in the next day, that would be perfect. There's 24-hour returns, and the prices are slightly different based on 24-hour and 1-hour return. But the 1-hour return, you're guaranteed a response within 60 minutes. Right. So, if you're sitting there panicking over a breakup or whether or not you should quit your job or apply for another job or go for that promotion, and you want to know in the next 60 minutes if that's the best decision for you, then you've got an answer coming to you really quickly.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Your link to Purple Ocean is in the description, guys.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, what's your toys? What's your favorite toys right now?
Oh, my favorite toys at the moment, my witch's runes, which I make myself. They are 13 runes. Each one has a different symbol on there. We've got like the crossroads, we've got the waves, we've got harvest, which is my absolute favorite, is harvest. As I said, there's 13 runes there. So depending on what comes out face up, that is for the client. I use lately, past couple weeks, I have been leaning on my Celtic tarot deck. This is the first deck that I ever purchased for myself over 3 years ago, and it's still in decent condition. It's soft.
It's decent.
Not gonna lie, it's soft. They're a little on the soft side. Not gonna lie.
Baby powder.
They're a little feathered on the edges, but I love
I
it.
figured out the feathering part, but that softness, put them in baby powder for a day or two.
Yeah,
it'll soak the moisture out.
It'll soak the moisture out of it. But
Yep.
it's like, they're a little soft. I've had them for a while. I am careful with my cards. I do take care of them. But after 3 years of shuffling and buffing, they do take a little bit of wear and tear on them. Right. I also love the Light Seers deck. I know that one's really common. My Luna Somnia deck is I've been really passionate about this one recently. Very simple imagery on them, but the energy in the deck is very powerful. Matthew Stapley, I've been loving his Lantern of the Soul deck. The Urban Crow Oracle. I mean, I have like 16, 17 decks within my reach at this moment, but these are the ones I lean on the most.
A professional psychic, they've got multiple decks laid in, multiple locations to just grab.
And it depends on the client too, on who they are, what their energy is like. The energy of the situation, like if it's a romance based or relationship based, I'm more likely going to lean on like the Light Seers deck or my Celtic deck. If it's like career based or home based, I'm probably going to lean more on like Oracle, and then maybe like go on to like my Mary Day Tarot, something like that.
Right.
So it just kind of depends on the person, the situation, and it's like I might pull from 3 different tarot decks and pull 3 cards from each tarot deck, because each one of these guys has his own attitude and personality anyway. Wow. So again, it's like getting multiple pieces of advice from multiple advisors and friends that all have different personalities.
Right. So what's your perfect client?
Somebody who sits down, knows what they're looking for, at least has a general idea of what they're looking for, at least the subject matter on what they're looking for clarity on, whether that is relationship, home, financial, whatever that is. Or like, I have made so many mistakes in my life, I don't even know where to begin. Great, that's somewhere. Okay. Sure. At least you know that we have a starting point and you know where you want to jump off from. A lot of my clients sit down and they just say, just hit me with whatever spirit wants me to hear. Because sometimes they already know what they're going to get hit with. They just want to know that spirit's going to hit them with it too. So a lot of my clients are like, I don't really know what I need to hear, but I know I need to hear something. So just kind of hit me with it. Okay. And that's usually typically how it comes out. But 9 times out of 10 that happens. But for somebody who sits down with a pen and paper with at least 2 or 3 questions, even if it's just a generalized like subject matter, it doesn't have to be a specific question, because sometimes you don't know what the question is, but you just like, I'm confused. And sometimes that's all it is. I just need some confusion cleared up. What should I be doing? I don't know what I should be doing. I'm very confused. Help me. Shove me in one direction, please. And I'd be more than happy to. So sometimes it is just get up off your rear end. You know that relationship isn't working for you. You should have moved on from that 6 months ago. Start doing that now, and you'll notice a big increase of positivity in your life.
Right.
Or, stop beating yourself up so much. Just keep pushing through. The next 3 weeks is going to be difficult, but by next month, it's going to be a completely different energy for you. And you're going to be feeling a heck of a lot better. So just stick it out and don't make any rash decisions. So again, yeah, it just kind of depends. And I do love my pendulums as well for simple questions. And I do use my pendulums for spirit guide communication and just like word communication with spirit as well. But that takes a little bit more time and energy to do. So that's not typically like a quick answer thing. I can get like quick answers, yes and no's out of them, but to really sit down and channel, that takes a good bit of time to do, at least half an hour or more. So
when are you normally on? When are you normally accepting readings?
Usually, typically, between 11 a.m. And 8 or 9 p.m. Sometimes even later, depending on how I'm feeling and things like that. But that's usually typically when I'm on, is just for majority during the daytime. If ever Purple Ocean runs like their specials and their sales, obviously I'm going to be logged on a lot longer than that, because the traffic's going to be picking up a lot. There's going to be a lot of people looking for readings, and not every reader is going to be available. So as long as I can try to be as available as possible, I'm going to. you know, every day is different. I could have 20 people come in on one day and I could have 2 people come in on the next day. Hey, you never know what's going to happen, but I'm always thrilled by the feedback that I get, and the information that comes out, and everything that's validated is really intense. It's really powerful, and it just proves further that these gifts are real, and they shouldn't be discounted. They shouldn't be discredited. Maybe they should be actually listened to.
All right. Well, darling, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, I will be back Friday night at 6 p.m. where we will be sitting down talking about some more modern spiritualists with different practitioners. Until then, good night. Replay through. Let's do the Facebooky, the YouTubey things. Likey, subscribey, comment,
Click all the buttons.
please. All right. Bye, guys.